is, connect to that personal mission, step into it in everything that you do, whether it's your job, whether it's your business, any life's project that you get involved in, make sure that your personal mission lives in there.
Hello, welcome to The Ship, an inspirational podcast designed to equip leaders and entrepreneurs with tools and strategies to strive. Now, here's your host, Tyrone Magwagwa.
So, welcome everybody. I'm super excited. Today we have an amazing guest. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a mentor. So many titles. I just don't know where to start and where to stop. She is that awesome. Her name is Tumi Sibanda, and she's going to talk to us today about her book that she's going to talk about. So, Tumi, welcome.
Thank you very much for the welcome, Tyrone.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for being here. I know you're a busy person, and you taking time to actually come means a lot to us.
You're most welcome.
Great. So I know that you are about to release a book. You're actually during the pre-launch of the book. Can you tell us a bit about the book?
Okay. The name of the book is You Are Enough.
Wow.
And it's a book about a battle with feeling inadequacy. So in the book, I talk about how inadequacy causes a number of problems for individuals and society at large, and how it also contributes to holding people back from achieving their full potential, and also how it actually contributes to some of the social ills that we experience in societies.
Wow. What are some of the things that make people feel inadequate? What are some of the things that can make a person feel like I am not enough?
Okay, so maybe let's start with the beginning of defining what is this feeling of inadequacy. The feeling of inadequacy is that sense of doubting yourself, doubting your own capabilities, and feeling that you're not good enough, feeling like you don't measure up, and if this persists, it leads to what we call imposter syndrome. And you have a lot of people who have this inadequacy, even if they are great, even if they've achieved great successes, they still continue to doubt their capabilities. You'll find people saying, my success was because of, they don't take ownership of their successes. I had a great team. Yes, it's true, I had a great team, but it's like a cop-out to say, if it wasn't because of this team, my capabilities were not that enough. Or I was lucky. I was at the right place at the right time. It was a fluke. That's one of the things that people with imposter syndrome feel, like their success was just a fluke. And that imprisoned them to even want to start again or to go further and do more successes and achieve more successes, because they believe, I think I fooled the world with the successes that I've had. Excuse me. And I know that, and a lot of people will relate to this when they think about their own lives, that I have actually doubted myself a number of times. And I know this experience because I have gone through that experience of feeling inadequate myself. And in the book, I also share stories, or I get stories of people who are doing well in their fields, and they'll tell you how self-doubt keeps creeping into their lives, even when they are doing great. And I also share examples of people who are doing very well, people who are celebrated, people that we call celebrities. People are celebrated who've achieved so much success in their own careers and in their leadership, in their businesses. Business owners, they do talk about how inadequacy, somehow the self-doubt, creeps up time and again and says you are not enough, and how you have to always keep reminding yourself that you are enough.
Wow, that's very powerful. I love that so much. But I have a question. How do I then strike the balance between me feeling proud and me taking all the glory, and me actually acknowledging my part in the success, and also acknowledging other people and for the efforts that they put in order to be successful. So how do I strike that balance?
Yeah, I think let me answer this question by talking about the kind of problems that inadequacy causes, and you'll see the difference between someone who is confident in their own abilities and they are also able to acknowledge contribution of other people while not discounting their own capabilities and their own contribution, and someone who discount their own capabilities altogether. So there's a difference between those people. Someone who is confident and not arrogant, someone who is confident in what they are contributing, they're also able to elevate other people without discounting themselves. So it would be something like, we are a great team kind of a thing. Not that I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. It says we work well together. We create magic together. We are a great team type of a thing. And there is no apology in acknowledging one's contributions. Whereas someone who battles with inadequacy, number one, they do have the tendency of disregarding compliments. You know, when someone is being complimented, no, that was nothing. Oh, you've got a beautiful dress. Oh, this ugly dress. You've got great shoes. Where did you get them? Oh, and they are very cheap shoes. You know, those kind of discounting. As compliments come your way, you kind of like push them away. You don't accept them as they come. So it's little telltales like that will tell you that I am not comfortable with the compliments coming my way.
That's very powerful. I have a question. And how do words affect how we feel about ourselves? So the words that other people say, whether it's upon our lives, and whether it's our family or our friends or at school, teachers, the words that they say, how do they affect how we feel about ourselves?
Mm-hmm. So this feeling of inadequacy is an internal job. So that's one of the problems that it creates. It creates internal problems. And it's a question of the words that are being told to you. When you internalize the words that are being told to you and you take them to heart and you believe them, they start creating your own reality. So I also talk about the power of the mind and the role that the mind plays in us feeling inadequate, and the kind of beliefs that we also hold about ourselves, which sometimes could have been planted by someone saying something to you. And when you form a belief about yourself, you start living that belief. We see that belief in your behavior. So when someone says, let's say maybe someone says to you, you are ugly, and you believe that, and it becomes something that is ingrained in your mind, that I'm ugly, therefore not worthy. You know, you start living the life that says I am ugly and I am not worthy. Just like when someone says I'm not good enough, they start living like they are not good enough. They start behaving like they are not good enough, and they start being experienced as not being good enough. So the words that people tell us can be dangerous as long as we take them on board and believe them.
Wow, that is so true. That is so true. I think also in my life there are certain words that have been said that affected me massively and damaged my confidence, my self-confidence as well. So I want to find out from you, how do I get rid of these limiting beliefs? How do I stop myself from really listening to what other people are saying and really maybe focus on what is true or what believing in myself?
Mm-hmm. And the starting point is acknowledgement, Tyrone. You cannot solve any problem without acknowledging where you are. We've got people who know that they're not feeling adequate, and they've got to acknowledge that. And on the other hand, we've got people who actually are not aware that they have this issue of feeling inadequate. So for them, it's about getting to the awareness first. So get to be aware that I actually have, in the book I call Inadequacy a monster, that I actually have this monster that is running my life. So the first thing is to have awareness. Once you've got awareness, acknowledge it. Because when you don't acknowledge that I've got a problem, you can't solve it. So acknowledge that there is a problem that needs to be solved. And I talk a lot about having to observe yourself to see how inadequacy shows up in your life and how it makes you feel and the kind of emotions it triggers for you when it shows up, so that you are able to say, I can now name this monster. This monster is X. And you know then that if I want to solve this problem of the monster that I have, this is what I would need to do. So key thing for me is have awareness and acknowledge that you have a problem. And then from then on, you have to start talking to yourself in a positive way, in a building way, in an encouraging way, and also surrounding yourself with people who will speak that kind of uplifting words into your life.
That's often very difficult, speaking to yourself, especially when you look at yourself and you're looking at maybe where you are and everything that's happening in your life, and sometimes it's very difficult just to speak life into yourself, into yourself, so that you can grow. But I want to find out, you spoke about surrounding yourself with people. What is really the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people, the people that can really uplift you, people that you can speak to, people that can speak life into your life, people that can help you grow with speaking those right words that we're talking about?
It is very important. I always say that sometimes when we are in a dark pit, so if you are in this dark pit of inadequacy, and inadequacy has been running your life on autopilot, you need to have people who will be able to hold your hand. But as I said, you need to get to a point where you get yourself to awareness of seeing how this inadequacy shows up, so that you are able to name it, and then you must raise your hand and say, I need help. That is the importance of having people around you, people that you will be able to say, help me. So professional help is the first thing that you would need to look at. You can look at a psychologist, you may look at a coach, you may look at a mentor, and then have friends and family, your inner circle, people that are your support. I'm a big fan of having an inner circle of people who are your support structure, that if you fall, they become like your net, your safety net, people that will catch you anytime that you fall. So it's very important to have those people. And you also need people that will be not just a sounding board, but people who will tap on you and says, that habit is coming back, of you talking yourself down and discounting your own capabilities and not believing in yourself. So you want those people who will speak truth into your life to help you and remain present in your life, so that the inadequacy doesn't keep running your life on autopilot.
Wow, that's very powerful. That is very powerful. I want to find out from you, when you were writing this book, did you have a specific audience in mind? Did you have a specific person in mind that you say, if this person can just read this book, if it's maybe young people, if it's maybe females, if it's maybe, did you have a specific audience that you had in mind when you were writing the book?
When I look at my client base as a coach, I work with professionals, I work with entrepreneurs, and I work with leaders. So those, they become my audience, like automatically, because those are the people that I work with. But I am specifically looking at people who have not noticed that inadequacy is actually running their life. For example, someone who is an abuser, they have some elements of inadequacy in them. Someone who is a bully in the workplace, they have some elements of inadequacy running their lives. So as much as I would look at professionals, I would look at leaders and entrepreneurs. So I'm also looking at people that are specifically affected by the inadequacy. So if you have a dysfunction in your life, I think it's very important to do an observation of your life to see how much inadequacy is operating in my life that brings about this dysfunction into my life. And I know that when we look at imposter syndrome, a higher percentage of people who are affected by imposter syndrome are women, but it is across all genders. So many females would be a target for this book, but I'm interested at the leader who is a bully in the workplace. Also focus on the abuser, someone who is abusing their partner in the home, and someone who is also not feeling adequate and is stuck in a place of stagnation. They can't grow their career and they can't grow their business.
Wow, that's very important, especially for leaders, because I always say that as a leader, you can't lead people before you lead yourself. You won't be in a position to really effectively lead others if you don't understand that you as a leader are enough. I want to talk about you a bit. I know that you have spoken on many stages. You have spoken to a lot of people. You have helped a lot of people. Have you in any way shared the stage with people that were probably more famous than you, or maybe at a bigger audience than you, and you probably felt that okay, maybe what am I doing here, or I'm not worthy to be on this platform?
Do you know, it happens often enough, and one of the things that becomes a misconception in society is when you look at someone that you believe has made it, you don't expect that they have some self-doubt that creeps in time and again. And I talk about that in the book, that it actually happens, which is why you've got to be vigilant and see it when it comes. It happens not necessarily only on speaking stages with someone. Sometimes is when you're going to speak to a particular audience and you ask yourself, am I worthy to be in front of this audience? Am I worthy to even deliver a message before this audience? And time and again, you have to remind yourself of the value that you have to add to this particular audience. And sometimes you'll be, if you ever go back to your point about sharing a stage with someone, is about hearing someone speak and you thinking, wow, that was great. And you kind of wonder, she or he is adding great value to this audience. And then you wonder, did I add that much value to the audience as much as he or she is adding? And that little voice is a voice to notice, because if you let it run amok, it's going to run your life. It will destroy most of your experiences. You would have had a great experience on stage, but because someone that you learned a lot from them, that experience kind of like can minimize you if you are not careful about that. So what do you say to yourself about sharing a stage with a colleague that's brilliant? You've got to say to yourself, reframe that experience and say, I am blessed to actually share a stage with such superpower.
Wow. That is so impressive. Who are some? I remember, I think you once did something in what I think it was in Soweto. Was it with DJ Spoo or Skinny Spoo?
Oh, it was
Sanele.
Okay, that was the Sunday Circle.
Yes.
It was in Pretoria. I did Sunday Circle in Pretoria. You know, Sunday Circle is DJ Spoo's
yes.
networking events. Yeah.
Oh wow. That is quite impressive. Yeah. So I have a question for you. As an author, as a speaker, as somebody who's walked down this path, would you say that competing with others makes us feel inadequate? So if I'm in a constant competition with another person, would make me feel like I'm not enough because I'm comparing myself to another person.
And comparison is actually, I've got a chapter on that specifically. Comparison, I think I call that chapter "Death by Comparison." So comparison is actually a telltale that there is inadequacy that is in operation in my life. When you find yourself not focused on yourself and focusing on what other people are doing and always comparing yourself, because we get what we focus on in life, you know that you're not going to get much done when you are focusing on what Tyrone is doing. You'll be an expert in what Tyrone is doing. That's the best that you can get when you keep comparing yourself with Tyrone. But when you focus on what is it that I need to do, what value do I need to add, and acknowledging in terms of your own skills, what inadequacies in my skills do I have that I need to fill the gap on? And you work on that. It's a difficult thing because we are social beings. You know, comparison just becomes a natural thing to do. But if it becomes a habit and it becomes a pastime for you, then you know you are a bit in trouble. And in the book, in the chapter where I talk about comparison, I say comparison is very important where you want to grow yourself. So you compare yourself because you want to grow yourself. You don't compare yourself to beat yourself up. Compare yourself with Tyrone because there are certain things in Tyrone's way of being, in how Tyrone does things, that teaches you something that you can learn from Tyrone. If you are comparing yourself to beat yourself up, then you know there is a problem. So I'm not saying do not compare yourself altogether, but don't compare yourself just to measure up. Compare yourself to grow.
You know, it's a value thing. It's a value thing. I believe that most people don't realize their value, don't understand their value. This lockdown has made a lot of people to lose their jobs, a lot of people to lose their businesses and source of income. And I've realized that people actually don't understand their value. People don't understand what they carry. People don't understand their value altogether. How does, a person get to know what their value is, know what I carry, know what I can offer in the marketplace? I'm not talking about a job, because if it's when people think about value, they think, okay, the job that I can do. Like, value is that it's the difference maker, something that can make me to be selected over my competition, because it's something that I only can do. So how do I get to understand my value?
Yeah. One of the simple exercises that I do with my coaching clients, Tyrone, it's three things. To observe your life and look and say, what are my values? What do I value? What are the things that are important to me in my life? And that is important because we live our values on a daily basis. So what we do on a daily basis is a reflection of what we value and what our beliefs are. So it's very important to understand that. The second thing is to understand, what is it that I am passionate about? So you may look at, I've got interests, a number of interests, but I know out of these interests that I have, certain of those interests I am really passionate about. So you know what your passions are. And the third thing is to look at, what is it that I am good at? We are gifted in different ways. And when we acknowledge those gifts, it's very powerful for us to know what it is that we are good at. And sometimes it can be the talents that we're born with, and sometimes can be things that we have learned over time that we are now good at. So it's almost like a set of skills that we are good at. And when you combine those three things, you get to a point where I call it a sweet spot. A sweet spot is where your values live, your passion lives, and your skills exist. And if you operate your life in that sweet spot, you will be powerful, valuable, and worthy of offering value to society. And when you are in that space, or when you have looked at those three components, and you watch your life and say, what value can I create in a space where my values are not compromised, where my skills are used, and my passion lives in that space? That is a place where you'll find your value, because you know, or you'll be able to answer the question, what do I have to offer? So the question of what do I have to offer is answered by that space where you know, I can fully be of value in this space without compromising my values, and I use my skills fully, and my passion is fed in the space.
Wow, that is powerful. That is so powerful. I think my question for you is now, where can people get the book? Where can people get the book?
At the moment, we are doing a pre-launch, so people can go to www.coachingfordreams.com and go to the shop, and the book is there. I have a pre orders open for a pre-order discount, and people can get it from our online store. At the moment, that's the only place you can get it for pre-orders, because we haven't launched it yet. So I've got pre-orders that are coming through, so join the stream of the pre-orders.
Perfect. So I have a segment in the show I call Lights, Camera, Action. So what I do is I will give you 60 seconds to speak into somebody's life. So anything you'd like to, your message to South Africans, your message to young leaders out there, your message to entrepreneurs out there, just anything you'd like to say. So in 60 seconds, you pour out your heart, you say anything. Just don't make us cry. Okay. So are you ready?
Yeah, I am ready.
Okay. So lights, camera, action.
We are all born with a purpose built in us. Some of us don't know it, we miss it. And I think it's our life's assignment to really get to understand what our personal mission here on earth is, connect to that personal mission, step into it in everything that you do, whether it's your job, whether it's your business, any life's project that you get involved in. Make sure that your personal mission lives in there, and you will live a life of significance and a life of fulfillment. You will die empty. You won't die full of that purpose that you haven't served. So find your mission, connect to your mission, and make the world a better place.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Totally appreciate it. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. And I totally appreciate you. You're one of my favorite people, favorite coaches, favorite mentors, favorite authors in this world. And I thank you for making a contribution in this world.
Thank you very much for allowing me to share with the audience.